Have you ever stopped to think about that bottle of shampoo sitting in your shower? We use it almost every day, but what is it really? We squeeze out a colorful dollop, lather it up and rinse it away, all in the pursuit of clean, fresh-smelling hair. It's a simple ritual, but it's one that separates us from a world of greasy, grimy hair. The whole point of shampoo is to tackle a problem our bodies create all by themselves. Our scalps produce a natural oil called sebum. Now, a little sebum is great, it keeps our hair from getting brittle and dry, but too much of it and you've got a greasy mess on your hands, or rather on your head. That's where shampoo swoops in to save the day. Think of it as a specialized cleaning agent designed specifically for your hair and scalp. Water alone just isn't up to the task of washing away that excess oil. You know how oil and water don't mix? Well, that's exactly what's happening on your head. To break up that oily party, you need something that can grab onto both the oil and the water. This is the fundamental mission of every single bottle of shampoo on the planet. Shampoo acts as a bridge, or what scientists call an emulsifier. Its molecules have two distinct ends. One end loves oil, hydrophobic, and the other end loves water, hydrophilic. When you massage shampoo into your hair, the oil-loving ends latch onto the sebum and all the gunk trapped within it. Then when you rinse, the water-loving ends grab onto the flowing water, pulling the entire complex of shampoo, oil and dirt right down the drain. It's a microscopic tug-of-war where you and your clean hair are the winner every single time. Alright, let's pop the cap and look at the recipe. What exactly are we putting on our heads? The number one ingredient in almost every shampoo is, believe it or not, water. In fact, a typical bottle of shampoo can be up to 80% water. It acts as the carrier, the solvent that holds all the other magical ingredients together and helps deliver them to your hair. This might sound like a ripoff, but without water, you'd have a thick, unusable paste. Next up are the real workhorses, the surfactants. That's a fancy word for the soap-like compounds that do the actual cleaning. The most common ones you'll see on an ingredient list are things like sodium lauryl sulfate or sodium laureth sulfate. These surfactants are often derived from natural sources you wouldn't expect, like coconut oil or palm oil, which are processed and refined to create these powerful cleaning agents. But a good shampoo is more than just soap and water. To make the experience pleasant and beneficial for your hair, formulators add a whole cocktail of other ingredients. Conditioners like silicones or polymers are added to smooth the hair's outer layer, called the cuticle, which reduces frizz and makes combing easier. Thickeners, which are often just simple salts, are added to give the shampoo that nice, rich consistency instead of being runny and watery. And let's not forget the preservatives like parabens or sodium benzoate, which are crucial for stopping bacteria and mold from growing in that water-rich environment. Finally, we have the ingredients that appeal to our senses, fragrances and colors. The scent of a shampoo, whether it's coconut, apple, or a fresh mountain breeze, is designed to leave your hair smelling fantastic long after you've rinsed. The colors, from pearly whites to vibrant blues and pinks, make the product look appealing in the bottle. All these components, from the water base to the last drop of fragrance, are carefully chosen and balanced to create the final product. Now for the really cool part, how do all those ingredients go from separate containers into one perfectly blended bottle of shampoo? It all happens in a massive factory, and the process is a bit like baking a giant cake, but with much more precision and way bigger mixing bowls. The heart of the operation is a colossal stainless steel vat, which can hold thousands of gallons. The process begins by filling this vat with purified water, which has been filtered to remove any minerals or impurities that could interfere with the formula. This water is often heated to a specific temperature to help the other ingredients dissolve more easily. Once the water is ready, the mixing begins in a very specific order. This isn't just a haphazard, dump everything in at once kind of deal. Typically, the surfactants and other primary cleaning agents are added first. Giant, slow-moving paddles like enormous cake mixers begin to churn the mixture. They have to move slowly to avoid whipping too much air into the shampoo, which would create a foamy mess. After the main cleaning agents are fully incorporated, the secondary ingredients are introduced one by one. This is where the real artistry of the chemical engineer comes into play. The conditioning agents, the thickeners, the foam boosters, and any special additives like vitamins or botanical extracts are added in their prescribed sequence. The pH of the mixture is constantly monitored and adjusted. Hair and skin are naturally slightly acidic, so the shampoo must be balanced to a similar pH level to avoid causing irritation or damaging the hair. This is often done by adding small amounts of citric acid or sodium hydroxide, The very last things to be added are the most delicate components, the fragrance and the color. These are added at the end of the process, usually after the mixture has cooled down a bit, because high heat can degrade them and alter their properties. Once everything is in the vat, the paddles continue to mix for a set period, ensuring that every single drop of the shampoo has the exact same composition. The result is a massive batch of perfectly uniform, ready-to-be bottled shampoo. So, we have this gigantic vat filled with thousands of gallons of pristine, beautifully mixed shampoo. Now what? We need to get it into the bottles you see on the store shelf. This part of the process is a marvel of automation and high-speed machinery. The finished shampoo is pumped out of the main mixing vat through a series of pipes that lead directly to the bottling line. This line is a long, automated conveyor belt system that looks like something out of a science fiction movie, with machines performing specific tasks at incredible speeds. The journey begins with empty bottles. These bottles, which were molded in another part of the factory or shipped in from a supplier, are fed onto the conveyor belt. First, they might pass through a high-pressure air jet station. This is a simple but brilliant step that blows out any dust or tiny plastic particles that might have settled inside the bottles during manufacturing or transport. At the filling station, the magic happens. A machine with multiple nozzles descends in perfect synchrony, positioning one nozzle over each bottle. In a swift, precise motion, each nozzle dispenses the exact same amount of shampoo into the bottle. These machines are incredibly accurate, ensuring that a 12-ounce bottle contains exactly 12 ounces of product, no more and no less. Once filled, the bottles continue their journey down the conveyor belt to the next station, the capper. Here, another automated arm places a cap on each bottle and tightens it to the perfect torque, creating an airtight seal. The final steps on the line are all about presentation. The now filled and capped bottles move on to the labeling machine. This machine wraps a pre-printed label around each bottle with lightning speed and perfect alignment. Some lines might even have a date coding laser that etches a batch number and expiration date onto the bottom of the bottle for tracking purposes. Finally, the finished labeled bottles are grouped together by robotic arms, packed into cardboard boxes, sealed, and stacked onto pallets ready to be shipped out to warehouses and eventually to a store near you. When you dig into the world of shampoo production, you uncover some truly fascinating and unexpected facts. One of the most surprising things is the psychology behind the lather. We've been conditioned to believe that more foam equals more cleaning power. In reality, the amount of suds has very little to do with how effective a shampoo is at removing dirt and oil. The cleaning is done by the surfactants on a molecular level, whether they create a mountain of foam or not. But because consumers expect a rich lather, manufacturers add specific foam-boosting agents just to create that satisfying, bubbly experience. Another interesting tidbit involves the pearlescent effect you see in many shampoos. That shimmery, opaque look isn't just for show, it's created by adding tiny crystalline substances like glycol distearate. When the shampoo is mixed, these chemicals crystallize into microscopic plate-like structures. As light passes through the shampoo, it reflects off these countless tiny crystals at different angles, creating that beautiful, pearly sheen. It's a clever bit of chemistry designed purely to make the product look more luxurious and appealing in your hand. It adds absolutely nothing to the cleaning power, but it certainly makes it look pretty. Have you ever wondered why there are so many different types of shampoo? For oily hair, for dry hair, for colored hair, for volume, for smoothing, the list goes on. The secret is that the core formula is often very similar. The variation comes from adjusting the ratios of the key ingredients. A shampoo for oily hair might contain a higher concentration of strong surfactants to strip away more sebum. Conversely, a shampoo for dry hair will use milder surfactants and pack in more conditioning agents, like oils and silicones, to add moisture and prevent stripping the hair of its natural oils. Perhaps one of the most mind-blowing facts is the sheer scale of production. A single large batch of shampoo can produce hundreds of thousands of individual bottles. The factories run nearly continuously, mixing, bottling, and shipping around the clock to meet global demand. The logistics involved in sourcing raw materials from all over the world, coconut oil from Southeast Asia, fragrances from France, specialized polymers from Germany, and bringing them all to one factory to be mixed with precision is a monumental feat of global supply chain management. After all the careful mixing and high-speed bottling, there's one final, absolutely critical stage quality control. You can have the best formula and the most advanced factory in the world, but if you're not constantly checking your work, it's all for nothing. Quality control, or QC, is the silent guardian of the entire shampoo making process. It ensures that the product you buy is not only effective but, more importantly, safe. QC technicians are involved at every single step, from the moment raw materials arrive at the factory to the moment the final boxes are shipped out. The process starts with the ingredients themselves. Before any raw material is allowed into the main production area, a sample is taken to the on-site lab. Technicians test it for purity, concentration, and identity, making sure it matches the exact specifications required. They check for contaminants and ensure that, for example, the surfactant delivered is the correct type and strength. If a raw material fails this initial inspection, the entire batch is rejected and sent back to the supplier. This prevents a flawed ingredient from compromising a whole batch of shampoo, which could be thousands of gallons. During the mixing process, QC is relentless. Samples are pulled directly from the giant vats at various stages. Technicians test these samples for a range of properties. They check the pH level to ensure it's in the safe and effective range for hair. They use a viscometer to measure the shampoo's thickness, making sure it has that perfect, rich consistency. They also check its appearance, color, and scent against a gold standard sample from a previous perfect batch. If any parameter is off, the production team can make real-time adjustments to the batch before it's too late. Even after the shampoo is bottled and capped, the job isn't done. QC teams perform random checks on the finished products from the bottling line. They pull bottles off the line to verify the fill volume is correct, that the cap is sealed tightly, and that the label is applied straight. They might even check the batch codes to ensure they are legible. This final inspection guarantees that the product that reaches you is exactly as the company intended, safe, effective, and perfectly presented. This meticulous attention to detail is what separates a trusted brand from a potential disaster. It's the final crucial seal of approval on your bottle of shampoo.